For over a decade now, superhero movies have always been the big thing. Every summer, and sometimes in November or so, the next big superhero movie from usually Marvel or DC comes out and everyone's always excited for it. Even DC, even when people know it's probably not going to be that good. But that's what it's been like for the recent decade, and now we have the new Avengers coming out, and the new Spider-Man, and whatever DC has for Wonder Woman and like that. There are a ton of movies that are scheduled ahead of that, and it's quite amazing. Because superhero movies, they used to be more of a thing that came every year. I mean, and before that, maybe every 8 years. In the 70s, we had the two Superman movies. I think they came out back then. And I honestly can't think of anything else that came out then. In the 80s, we had a Batman movie and The Punisher. Really can't think of anything else off the top of my head. And in the 90s, it was pretty much the same stuff. But for a lot of the film history, when it comes to superhero movies, they were always pretty rare. But until recently, they are just so common that I can't help but wonder if people are going to get actually sick of them soon. And this is kind of a trend that usually goes on, because there are usually going to be genres that are just going to go on for about a decade or so and be that popular, and then they're starting to fade out. In the 80s, it was slasher movies. Slasher movies was always the big thing. There was Friday the 13th, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser, let's see, what else? Chainsaw Massacre, Child's Play, so many more, and a bunch of other little independent movies. Each one trying to be more gory than the last, seeing which can be the goriest. And by the 90s, people were sick of slasher movies and they died out. I mean, yeah, we did have Scream and some stuff after that, but it was never up to the point back where it was in the 80s. Then in the 90s, it was probably more of those cartoons and things like that getting made into live-action movies. That was a trend for a while. Again, still happens, but I don't think it's really as common as it used to be, unless you count the superhero movies, of course. The 2000s, I don't know, parody movies. But whatever the case, there's usually some kind of genre that becomes popular for a while and then fades out. And the superhero movies have pretty much started out probably with Iron Man. That's what started the whole cinematic universe thing, and it's been going on for well over a decade now. So, with two superhero movies coming out this year, Detective Pikachu, which surprisingly looks pretty good, I think I might see it, and Sonic the Hedgehog, it would look good. I mean, if it weren't for Sonic's design, I think this actually might be passable, but we'll see. I can't help but think, are superhero movies, or what am I saying, are video game movies gonna be the next thing? Now, for a long time, superhero movies, they used to be what the superhero movies were. Back in the 90s, superhero movies were those things that you just looked over, you knew they were going to be for kids, and you knew they were going to be dumbed down, they were going to be horrible. And that's what you pretty much expect from video game movies. You don't expect them to be really good. There have been a few that have been nice. Wreck-It Ralph, if that even counts. You see, I can't think of anything. But superhero video game movies are just, they never really worked out that much, and there are, I think, some reasons I think that, which I'll get to in a minute, but I do think that video game movies are going to be the next big thing, because they actually still might be in a short term of becoming good. So the first reason I think they don't ever had worked out is because usually the creator or the team that worked on the games wasn't involved in the games or the movies. So because of that, when a lot of the time when you don't have the creator or someone who's high on the seat of making that stuff, it's not going to work out. Just look at the new Powerpuff Girls. It's not really that good. If you don't have the creator on there, it's just something doesn't work out. Sometimes it will, but most of the time, it won't. So, I think if you have the creator on there, going and giving advice, it's going to turn out to be a lot better. And that's what it's going to be like for the new Mario movie that's coming out in a few years. Yes, it is going to be made by the people who make the Minions. That's something that's going to be kind of worrying, but I mean, their animation's not bad. I'm pretty sure it will look nice, but just can't hope they're going to put some stupid pop culture references in there and dance numbers and whatever else they do. But Shigeru Miyamoto is going to be involved, and I can see that being a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is he's the creator of Mario, so huzzah! The bad thing is that Miyamoto is known for disliking stories. He doesn't like stories that have a lot with it, and he just likes them to be very simple. To him, he likes the simple, Peach gets kidnapped by Bowser, Mario has to go save her. And that's what it's probably going to be about. There won't be too much more to the movie, and a movie needs a story to survive. I can kind of understand where Miyamoto is coming from. I don't think really Miyamoto has actually ever moved on. Back when games were first being made, you didn't really need much of a story. And today, with graphics and the games being bigger and everything like that, you kind of do. And I don't think Miyamoto really ever moved on from that for some reason. He's still kind of in the stage where he thinks video games don't need big stories to work. Sometimes maybe he's right, but look at the Paper Mario games and see the first two, and also Super Mario. People love them, and Miyamoto just always wants to stick to the same formula. But again, if the creator's on it, it's probably going to work better. Another reason I think that this video game movies are going to become more of a thing is that people who grew up with the games are now getting involved. Back when the video game movies were first getting made, they were getting made by people who didn't go and grew up with the games. If I remember correctly, the original Super Mario Bros. Movie, the guy who made it didn't understand the concept of the games. So, of course, it wasn't going to work. He didn't grow up with them, and he never really probably played it that much. So he just couldn't go and get the grasp of it. But now you have people who are growing up with these games and do understand what these characters are like, what the story is, what just the overall feel of it is supposed to be. They will understand it a lot more, and that's why I think the Pikachu movie is going to work out more. There were people who were involved with the movie that grew up with Pokemon and said, okay, if we're going to make a live-action Pokemon movie, it has to be like this. So it's good that people who grew up these games are getting involved because they will know much, much better. So, what are we going to go and see in the future when it comes to video game movies? We have Detective Pikachu coming out, Sonic. In a few years we're going to have the new Mario movie. Will we ever have a Zelda movie, or a Super Smash Bros. Movie, or a Jak and Daxter movie? Grand Theft Auto, even though that would probably be pretty controversial. Halo movie, the list goes on, and I know a lot of movies have always been told to be in development, but in the end they usually don't get made because it just doesn't work out. But I think we're at that point now where video game movies are starting to get very close to becoming good. If the Pikachu movie becomes successful, I do think we're starting to get to that stage, and if Sonic, surprisingly, is very good, I think that will be pretty much confirmation that we are getting to that stage where video game movies are probably at one point going to replace superhero movies. It's not going to be instant or anything like that, it's probably going to take a while, but I can probably see in about 10 years, the video game movies will be the next big thing, and the next thing that everyone wants to go and see. And then the superhero movies will just go out like the slasher films and all of those live-action cartoon movies, the parodies, and Even before all that, Westerns. Westerns used to be everywhere, and now you only see maybe a few every few years or so, but that's what I see happening. But it still matters whether the next few are going to be good or not. But I do think we are going to get to that stage where they are going to be good, and superhero movies will be on the way one day. Not soon, but later.